Hey guys, Jason here again with another episode of Sports Buzz, and today I'm going to give you my thoughts on both the AFC and NFC Championship games that happened yesterday. I also want to preview the Super Bowl. Alright, so let's start out with the first game, the New England Patriots at the Denver Broncos. The final score was, of course, the Broncos 26, the Patriots 16 here. I do have some stats for you guys. Tom Brady had 277 yards and one touchdown, and Julian Edelman, the leading rusher for the Patriots, was Shane Vereen with 34 yards, but Ridley also did have 17. That combines to about 51 yards. So the rushing game for the Patriots was not really a factor. Denver's defense looked really good. Terrence Knight had a really good game. They did have some injuries in the secondary. The Broncos did. Of course, I think it was Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie was hurt on and off in that game, and of course, losing Chris Harris Jr. the week before definitely was a factor coming into this game. It wasn't really a factor though, however, and it just seemed like the Patriots could not get going. The leading receiver for the Patriots was Julian Edelman with 10 catches, 9 yards and one touchdown from Tom Brady. Edelman looked great here. He reminded me obviously of a Wes Welker, and that's kind of what the Patriots did. They kind of let Wes Welker go for Julian Edelman, in favor of Julian Edelman, and they also signed Danny Amendola, who really was not really a factor in this game at all. It just was a very lopsided game offensively for the Patriots. They just did not look good here, at least on offense. On defense, like I said, the Broncos did look pretty good, I think. Able to rush and get some pressure on Tom Brady. I was really impressed with that, watching, and this is something that's going to pay dividends for them, I think, in the Super Bowl, and I'll get to that in a little while here. All right, for the Denver Broncos, of course, Peyton Manning had 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. I believe one to Demaryius Thomas and one to Jacob Tamme. Noshawn Moreno had 59 yards rushing, and Ball had 43 yards rushing, so they're very, very productive on the ground there. That combines to 102 yards total. Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, and Eric Decker also combined for 292 yards. And one of the big factors coming into this game, obviously, would be the impact of Hakeem Talib. He was injured, I believe, in 2 separate times. He did come back. I believe he had a rib injury and then he had a knee injury, and he ended up sitting out, I believe, almost the entire second half, if I'm not mistaken. If not, if that injury didn't start in the second quarter, I don't remember at this point. But Demaryius Thomas just looked great. They were going against, I believe it was Justin McCourty, the defensive back, kind of targeting him and kind of targeting the player that was in for Talib, and that definitely helped them for sure. And of course, the tight ends and whatnot, just the offense of the Broncos looked amazing. Peyton Manning able to get the ball out quickly at like normal, and the Patriots rushing attack on Peyton was not successful. They don't have really big bodies there, and yeah, so we'll see how that plays out in the Super Bowl. I'll get to that in a little while here. All right, the second game here is the Seattle Seahawks versus the 49ers. A huge game, something that I expected coming out of the NFC originally. It's a very, very intense game here. The final score was 23-17 in favor of the Seattle Seahawks. They will play the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl here. Colin Kaepernick of the 49ers had a very, very good game. He had, I believe, let me look at the stats here. Let me pull this up. He had 153 yards passing the ball, 1 touchdown there. That was to Anquan Bolden. He also did lead the team in rushing with 130 yards, and also Kendall Hunter had 16 yards on 3 attempts. Frank Gore was a non-factor in this game. To me, in my opinion, he looked bad. He kind of reminded me, unfortunately, of a Michael Turner or a Steven Jackson. Just did not have it. Of course, he's going against the top team against the run, fourth against the runner of the Seahawks. That didn't help, but he just did not look good. They couldn't get him going. We'll see how that impacts their future. I believe Anthony Dixon did have a touchdown in this game as well, if I'm not mistaken. like I said, very good game for the 49ers. Very good game for Russell Wilson. The game started out very poorly for him, though. There was a turnover on the first play of the game. He was rolling back, trying to get a pass downfield, I believe, and the ball was stripped by Aldon Smith. And that led to a field goal for the 49ers to lead off the scoring. So the 49ers defense did look very, very good in this game as well. They just kind of got outplayed. Russell Wilson did look good. He had 215 yards from passing yards, one touchdown. Marshawn Lynch led all rushers with 109 yards. He really just bottled up, I think, definitely in this game. Yeah, it just very, very, very nice there. But then he did have a huge, huge run, as did Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, I forgot to mention, did have a 58-yard run that led to, I believe, a scoring play. I'm not sure. I don't remember if it was a field goal or touchdown at this point. But and that impressed me. His running style did impress me there. Back to the Seattle Seahawks, though, Doug Baldwin was the leading receiver with 6 catches for 106 yards. A very, very nice play over the middle. Long play, was out. Did have a was out as a result of that nice play. Was knocked out for a couple plays. Did have a long kick return as well. It was not returned for a touchdown, but a long return to set the team up in a good position. Obviously, Jermaine Kearse did have a touchdown, the lone touchdown from Russell Wilson. A beautiful bomb just right down the middle. He was a slot receiver in this case. Very, very nice there. I was very, very impressed by them. Of course, the big story of the game, I believe it was, I think about the between the 4 and 5 minute mark. Excuse me. There was the Seahawks were going down the field, and there was a turnover at the goal line. And Navarro Bowman got rolled up, and there was a turnover, just a strip. Navarro Bowman got rolled up, of course, and he has suffered an apparent knee ACL injury, of what I'm hearing right now on NFL Network. So that's something to look forward to in the future. But there was a big blow, big turning point, and that call was given to the Seahawks, I believe, and it was just a big momentum swing. You could feel the momentum going the Seahawks' way, and it just continued from there. The end of the game, of course, Colin Kaepernick did have 2 interceptions in this game. I failed to mention a little bit earlier. The big one coming at the end of the game. They had a chance to win. A touchdown would have won the game, of course. So they going down the field, and he just throws an interception. Ball's tipped, and Richard Sherman, the cornerback, picks it off. In the post-game interview, I don't know if you guys caught this. It's been all over the internet. Sherman just kind of goes off on Crabtree, and there was words exchanged. These teams, I don't think, like each other. The rivalry is kind of overblown in my opinion, but yeah, these teams definitely don't like each other. I don't know about the coaches. I think there's definitely a mutual respect, mutual hatred there as well, maybe a little bit. One thing. Yeah, so that's basically it. And then there was, like I said, there was the interview there, of course, and Crabtree. So yeah, that's that. Very, very interesting there. All right, now let's get back to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl will be between the Seattle Seahawks and Denver Broncos, the 2 number 1 seeds. The 2 number 1 seeds that me personally I wanted to see in the Super Bowl. So this should be very fun for me. And it's going to be I think it's going to be an interesting game. I'm not sure if it's going to be defense, offense. I know Seattle's got the good defense, obviously. Denver's got the good offense with Peyton Manning and all the superstars. Wes Welker, of course, I failed to mention again, in the Denver Bronco game was a non-factor, only had 38 yards. So that's something I want to add it in there. But there's a whole bunch of weapons you got for Denver. This could go either way, I think. But ultimately, I do think that the experience of Peyton Manning and his ability to pick apart the defense, like we saw yesterday with the Patriots, will lead to him winning the Super Bowl this year. And ultimately, I think coming back for another year, I do not think he will retire, but I do think this will be a close game. I think Russell Wilson will have opportunities because, as we've seen, Denver's defense has been good against the run, so they may be able to stop Marshawn Lynch. But I think Russell Wilson will be able to exploit the holes. They had to respect the passing game. I still think it does Denver for the So I think that's something to look out for going into the Super Bowl. But ultimately, I do think Denver Broncos will win the Super Bowl. And like I said, very, very close game. We'll see how Seattle does perform on the road. in the last couple years. I believe last year, and they've definitely improved this year on the road, but last year they had a tough time. Alright, before I get any farther, I do want to throw out these stats. I did not mention these before, I just gave my overall thoughts. Seattle's 26th against the pass, 4th against the run, as I mentioned before. Denver is first against the pass, which is kind of hard to believe. They had some struggles, I think, early in the year. They were 15th against the run, but like I said yesterday, they were able to shut down the run. It's going to be definitely very, very interesting what happens. It's going to be a very entertaining game. I'm looking forward to the whole thing. I'm looking forward to the game itself, obviously, very entertaining. You have the halftime performance, Bruno Mars, Red Hot Chili Peppers, something to look forward to if you're a music fan, and obviously the commercials. So it's going to be an action-packed Super Bowl Sunday in 2 weeks here. The teams have a week to prepare. Next week is the Pro Bowl. It's going to be in New York, of course. We'll see if the weather changes. I'm personally hoping for snow a little bit and just change it up. But there is, of course, if the snow and the weather is too bad, which right now I don't think it is supposed to be, there is an alternate plan to either have the Super Bowl on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, depending on the weather, of course, and we'll definitely see how that plays out. That should be interesting to see how these two teams adapt if it's cold, and depending on how the weather plays out. All right, guys, well, that's it for this episode of Sports Buzz. I hope you guys enjoyed this little recap. I know it's very, very long, this episode, but I figured I'd just do a complete recap. If I missed anything, I am sorry. I think I mentioned everything I want to do, though. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. I try to put out videos when I can. I also do want to get some feedback. What do you guys think is going to happen in the Super Bowl between the Seahawks and Denver? Who do you think is going to win? And what do you think the final score will be? Who do you think will be the MVP? How do you think this thing will break down ultimately? Alright, thank you guys for watching this episode of Sports Buzz. Please give it a like if you enjoyed. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.